USA actually gets to start off in a favorable position because we're a host.
So we were explaining this earlier this morning. Our sports team has been explaining this as well. Because we are a host country, we are in the first pot with the best of, which means we do not play the top tier teams in our group. We do know that much. Our sports team is standing by now. We have Jason Bristol and Luis Ortiz. We want to know, guys, what is the best case scenario in this draw for the U.S.? And we also have to look at what is the worst case scenario.
Well, Jacob, for that answer, there's no better person than to have a former member of the U.S. national team in Brian Ching. So let's look at the pots again. So Jacob is asking for best case scenario for the United States. When you're looking at the U.S., if we look back at the last World Cup, the United States had England, Iran, and Wales in the same group. So here's the U.S. Give us the best case scenario for the United States group in Group D.
So when I look at Group 2, Pot 2, you probably obviously have to say Australia. It would probably be the pick that you'd want to get, or Austria, obviously, those two at the bottom there. And then when I look at Pot 3, either South Africa, probably same thing, right? Or even a Qatar, I think would be a best case. And then you probably want Haiti, right? We know them, and they're probably one of the smallest nations in the tournament. So that would give us the best chance to get the highest seed. And then obviously play probably a third place team in the next round.
All right, Luis, do you want to take your crack at best case?
I want to go worst case.
You want to do, oh boy, so you want to do worst case. All right, so the U.S. is here, Group D. What would be the worst case scenario? And we'll see if Brian agrees.
Yeah, I think worst case out of Pot 2, you get Colombia. That's going to be a very tough match. Then you go Pot 3, and I'm looking at probably, if we do Scotland, might be a good one, or Norway, just because they're big. These guys in Europe, and they go up against some of the best countries in the world. And then Pot 4, that heated rivalry, Ghana. What Brian talked about, South Africa maybe out of Pot 3, but those African teams, for me, they're always good matchups just because they're so strong and fast. And these guys on the counterattack, they get that long ball, man, they're off to the races, and good luck catching them,
Now, Brian, because we are so technologically advanced here, I have changed the color for you. So we can keep Luis's choices up here, and now we can see Brian's choices.
I'd probably have to agree with Colombia, but I would put Croatia right there, right with them. I mean, Croatia's gotten to, the final, if not the semifinals in the last 2 or 3 World Cups.
Croatia was semifinal in the last World Cup.
Yep.
So they played against France. Was it the final in 2018, maybe?
Yeah, very strong team, very, very strong team. And then I would kind of look, and I'd have to. I don't know if I would agree with Scotland there. I would look at probably Norway, and then also Egypt as well, like you said, right?
Circle
we got Salah and
Mo Salah.
And like you said, very athletic teams, right? So teams that would probably match up really, really well against us. And then I would probably have to say one of the European teams that come out of here, right? If Italy makes it, I think that would be probably the group of death for sure.
Because I think even Denmark might come out of there.
Yeah, Denmark, Turkey as well would be another one. So it would be tough. But obviously speaking from past experience and having to face Ghana, just pure athleticism from those guys would really, really, really scare me as well. But I think any of these would be kind of pretty much considered the group of death, and it'd be very difficult for the U.S. To get out of the group.
And Ghana, you said, because of their skill level and athleticism and the pace at what they play, is that what makes them so difficult?
I think just athletically, right? The teams that are bigger, stronger, faster, technically make it a lot harder for you to play, less time on the ball, harder to get in behind just because of their quickness and whatnot. And I think, if you look at the teams that have won, the World Cups, they're coming from the largest soccer playing countries in the world. So Brazil, right? Largest soccer playing, passionate culture. So you're getting their top athletes, right? And so, that's why I think, they've, over the course of the history of the World Cup and won the most World Cups.
And listen, the U.S. has a lot of guys that play overseas. They play in Europe a lot, in their clubs, right? So they're used to playing physical ball. I mean, a lot of them play in the Premier League. That's physical football, and that's the type of football that you get when you face off against maybe a Ghana or South Africa. The thing is that it becomes very physical, and maybe on those set pieces is where they can get you a ball over the top and a header if they can jump up and be tall.
When you talk about that, I mean, you look at France, right? France over the last probably 10 years have probably been the most elite, had the most success on the international level. And you look at their team, all African-based players, all very physical. I mean, you look at the final last year, in 2022.
Don't worry, I did the same thing. I kept saying last year. I feel much better now that Brian is saying the same thing. Thank you.
But in 2022, you could see the Argentinians came out strong, and then France just kind of slowly started working into the game, came back, imposed themselves physically on the game, and then to the point where we thought that they were just going to kind of run them over. But obviously Argentina had Messi and had something else to say about that.
Yeah. What about this squad right here when you look at Morocco?
Man.
Because there's a group that,
that's a dark horse right there.
What I've been looking at here, I mean, here's a team in the past 5 years has gone from number 35 in the world to number 11 and made the semifinals 4 years ago.
Yeah, and in the Euros, I think they went really well in the Euros as well. So, they're a team on fire. I think they have a good generation of players right now. One of their top players, I think, is playing in PSG, one of the best clubs in the world. So, they definitely have the athleticism. They have, probably the culture within the team right now that they expect success. So they're going to be a very dangerous team.
This is their golden generation. Morocco right now, like you mentioned, they just have players that are playing at premier clubs, and they have some players that can be game changers. So their golden generation, they're a scary team.
All right, we are not going to erase this because we're going to take a picture of this. And then when the whole grouping is done and we go to the knockout stage, we're going to see how we did. Of course, we had Luis in the gold, Brian in the green, and then I just offered Morocco. But that's the story here from our team for Brian and Luis. Now let's go back to our team again in Sugarland.
All right, and we'll be able to see in not very long whether either of those scenarios plays out. Probably a mixture of some of them. Thank you so much